This video should help you complete the rock, paper, scissors assignment. The objective of this assignment is to convert the given pseudocode into a real executable and working program. Now, it's often best to start with the end in mind, so let's take a look at how this program works. I've got it loaded into JGrasp, so let's just run it. Okay, so you see first of all this input J option pane, which is used as both input and output. So right here we're seeing the output that says how our game is progressing, and then we have this input entry field. What I'm going to do is repeatedly throw rocks to it's not good to throw rocks, but that's what we're going to do. We'll just select rock, and we'll continue to throw that, and to not have any more variables in the game than we need to. So we'll throw a rock and see what happens. Okay, well, that's unfortunately paper beats a rock, so the computer won in that particular round. Okay, so you have to get the best 2 out of 3, so let's see what we get on the next one. I'll throw another rock. Here we go. Okay, so we tied with a rock and a rock. All right, let's try it again. All right, paper beats the rock again, so that's the best 2 out of 3. The computer won that match. So let's try it again and see how things go. Okay, a rock and a rock. That's a tie, so nobody gets any score on that one. We'll try it again. Paper beats the rock, so you see that the computer has a score for that particular round. And let's see how it goes again. So rock and rock ties, nobody wins. Paper beats rocks, the computer is up 2. Let's keep going. We got to find a point where we can win. Okay, so rock breaks the scissors, so we won that particular match, or that particular round. So, and we did it again. So rock crushes the scissors, and we won our first match. So you can see how things progress. Let's try something else. Let's try paper here now for a couple of rounds. So paper, scissors cut paper, so computer wins that round. We'll throw paper again. Paper and paper is tie, so nobody wins. Paper and paper ties again. Paper ties. Scissors cut paper, so the computer wins again. So the computer is up to 3 matches, and we're still 1. So you can see how good we are at this game. Anyway, we can then complete the game by selecting 0, and then the computer will, or the program will naturally end. So now let's take a look at the assignment and see how to put this together. So let's scroll to the top here. This is the pseudocode that's actually given in the program assignment for this assignment, or it's given in the content for this assignment. So first of all, we start out with a hierarchy chart. We see that there's a main program, or a main method, which actually calls get choices, and get choices method calls program choice and user choice. So here's our actual pseudocode then, starting here, and we actually start out then with the global variables. And you can see that we have a string variable followed by several numbers, another string, and something different. This is actually an array. Don't get upset about this one. We're going to study arrays more in more detail in some future lessons. I've given you the code down below for this particular line, so just look for it down below the pseudocode. Again, there's a random number generator. It's also defined in this global variables section. The code for that is given below. All right, so let's move down a little bit more. We see our first method, program choice. This is a method. You can see it starts here, it returns here, and all it does is pick a random number. And that code is given down below also. And then we have the user choice method. You can see it starts here and ends here with the return. Then we have our final method right here, get choices, with its start and end, and it simply calls those methods that we just defined up above. So it's user choice and then program choice. Then the next thing that we run into is actually the main part of the program. This is the main, and notice that it comes now below the defined methods. That may be different than what we've talked about to date, and I just wanted to show you this, that you can define a main anywhere you want to. You can define methods anywhere you want to. They don't have to be in any particular order, so the main can be listed first in the definition of a program or last. In this particular case, it's last. You'll see it both ways professionally. So here's the start, and here's the stop of the main. Okay, so the next thing to do is to actually copy this pseudocode over into your environment where you'll edit. So I'm going to select all of the pseudocode here and copy it. And then we'll go to, in our particular case, we're going to go to JGrasp, and we'll just open up a new Java edit field. And what we'll do is actually paste this special as just plain text. So there she goes. So there's all the pseudocode in JGrasp now. Now, if you tried to compile it, it would definitely have some problems. So we have to convert this. So let's talk about how that's done. So let's go over to the instructions for that, which are here. These are listed also in the content. So this is where your homework is defined, and then the suggestions for how to do the conversion are listed right below here. So you've got several steps, and the first steps are to put in the curly brackets. So the first one is convert pairs of start return and start stop to pairs of curly brackets. This will actually define your methods. So let's go back to the code, and let's make this a little bit bigger. We're not concerned about that window at this point. So past the variables, you would get to a method. So we're going to look at start and return pairs. Well, here's one right here. So we can put an opening curly there, turn that into a comment, and we can put a closing curly here and turn that into a comment. So basically you do that for every one of the methods, and away you go. Okay, so let's go back to the next one. Put curlies in for if and else if structures. So here's the structure. You put the curlies in for that. Let's take a look at how that might work here, and get the right window open here. Alright, so let's find an if. Well, here's an if right here, and so you see, if user choice is less than or equal to 3, then we're going to do something here. So, well, that's obviously a place to put in an opening curly, and then we'll move down to the else, and we can put our closing curly in there. Now, an else actually is the start then of some more code here. So else, I'm going to perform those two statements, and then we'll close the code right here at the end if, and we can turn that into a comment. So you can see how the code is starting to come together. Now this if, I went to the most inner if that's inside this indentation here. So you can see there's an if on the outside. So if user choice is only one character and user choice string is a number, then we're going to do this statement here. So you can obviously see that there's a curly there. And I placed it such that it lines up with this other else. So you can see then that the block of code, if this is true, is all of this all the way up to the else. And then we put the other curly in this one, which opens up. So else, we do this statement, and then this end if ends that one, and we can turn that one into a comment. So this whole if structure is now blocked in very well. Okay, so let's go back, and so you do that with all of the if statements. So now the next one, and I'm going to scroll down a little bit, is you put the curlies around the loops. So here's a while. So let's take a look at how that looks for the while. Well, we were inside of a while here, so why don't we just take a look at how that works. So while try again, I'm going to do output, I'm going to do input, I'm going to do this if statement, and then I'm going to end the while. So all of this stuff here ends up inside one curly, or one set of curlies. So I think I have them going the wrong way. So there we go. So there you go. Did I get this one right? Yeah. So that's an opening curly, and you can see now too, JGrasp is already showing me that I've got a correct pair in there. And in fact, you can use that method here to show these coming into place just right. So they fall exactly where I expect them to. Okay, so that's how then we put curlies in the start and the end of our methods, and then how we do if statements and how we do while statements. So that starts to get our structure in place for us. So now let's take a look at what's the next thing. Okay, so work out the logic for the expression statements, and these are found in the parentheses, so immediately following whiles and ifs. So this is going to be a little bit more of a challenge to you, maybe. So this logic here, actually, we've given user choice string is only one character, and the user choice string is a number. You can actually see the logic that was given for this. It's at the bottom here. Use this logic to test the user input. So the user choice string is, its length here is equal to 1, or we're checking whether it's a digit or not. So we want to make sure that if somebody types in A, and the only values that we really expect to use are digits from 1 to 3. So that's the code that you would put in there. However, I didn't give you any other logic to put in there, so you got to work them out. So let's go back and take a look at our code here. So if user choice is less than or equal to 3, well, I think you can figure that one out, what that one would look like. And let's see if there are any other ifs that we can find. Right, here we go. So now we're saying, okay, if the user choice is a rock and program choice is paper, or, okay, and again, these are all, here's how we determine a winner, and I'll let you go ahead and work out that logic. So let's go back here. What's the next thing that we figure out? Okay, so you build the step 5 is build the correct syntax for the method declarations. Okay, well, these would be the first lines in your methods, and so now you would go to something like here, get choices. Okay, well, we know you've seen examples of methods before, how they have return values and the like. So for instance, on this will be the main method starting right here. You've seen the syntax for main methods. Go ahead and just put it right in there. Okay, let's go to 6. Okay, so adjust the variables and constants to have the proper syntax. Strings, see, lowercase string becomes an uppercase string. You got two choices in numbers. They're doubles or ints, and you can take a look at that. Again, those variables are up at the top of the program. So here's a string, needs to be properly identified numbers, and again, these have to be made as global variables. We're calling them global variables. Okay, so that'll have to be taken care of. And one thing that I should mention right now is make sure that you don't have any pseudocode that's left over. Make those into comments. At the very least, or delete them. I think making them comments is a good suggestion. Okay, so place the import statements, if any, at the top. I've given you one import statement for random numbers, and we've actually provided the code. Okay, now finally you visit the rest of the statements, and you ensure they have proper syntax. Well, one of the things is make sure they have a colon in the end. And some of these statements will already be given to you, and so they'll be done. So compile the thing, fix any problems, run the program, and enjoy.